The ice wind howled across the frozen plateau of Rekka Prime, carrying with it crystals sharp enough to slice exposed skin. Captain Rhea Solon stood before the council chamber's massive doors, her regulation uniform offering little protection against the planet's brutal climate. Behind those doors, the Rekkan Tribunal had just passed their judgment: exile to the Frostfields, for one rotation of their moon, alone. The crime: unauthorized contact with Frostfang cubs during a diplomatic mission. The Rekkans were a proud species, bipedal warriors with thick gray hide and traditions that stretched back millennia. Their young were sacred, untouchable by outsiders. When Rhea had pulled 3 cubs from a collapsing ice shelf during the previous week's tremor, she had violated their most fundamental law. That she had saved the cubs' lives meant nothing. Protocol was protocol. "You will proceed to the northern waste," High Arbiter Krell had announced, his voice like grinding glaciers. "You will survive or you will not. The planet will judge your worth." Now, as 2 guards escorted her beyond the settlement's thermal barriers, Rhea felt the true weight of that sentence. The temperature had already dropped to -40 degrees. Her breath formed instant clouds of vapor. The guards removed her thermal cloak, part of the punishment, and pointed toward the endless white expanse. "Walk north until you can no longer see the lights," one guard said. His translator rendered the words flat, emotionless. "The judgment begins at nightfall," Rhea nodded. She had survived worse. 2 tours in the outer reaches, a crash landing on a methane moon, and that memorable incident with the plasma conduit on Deck 7. She was human. Humans survived. She walked. The plateau stretched endlessly, a frozen desert where nothing grew and nothing lived. Or so the briefing files had claimed. As the settlement lights faded behind her and the violet sun began its descent, Rhea realized how wrong those files were. She heard them before she saw them. Soft, chittering sounds, almost musical. Then, emerging from behind an ice formation, they appeared. 3 Frostfang cubs, their silver fur rippling in the wind. Their eyes like liquid amber. The same 3 she had rescued. "No," Rhea said aloud, her voice cracking in the dry cold. "Go back. You'll be punished too." The cubs tilted their heads in unison. A gesture she had learned meant curiosity. They were each the size of a large wolf, though only a quarter of their adult size. Their species were apex predators, capable of taking down prey 3 times their mass. Yet these 3 approached her with cautious, deliberate steps. The largest cub, marked by a distinctive white patch on its chest, chirped softly. Then it began to dig. Rhea watched, fascinated despite her deteriorating situation. Her fingers were already numb, her face aching from the cold. The sun touched the horizon and the temperature plummeted further. She estimated she had perhaps 2 hours before hypothermia became irreversible. The cubs dug with remarkable efficiency, their powerful claws tearing through packed snow and ice. They worked in rotation, one digging while the others pushed excavated snow aside. Within 20 minutes, they had created a hollow large enough for Rhea to curl inside. A shallow cave carved into a drift. Protected from the wind, the white-patched cub chirped again and looked at her expectantly. "You want me to get in?" Rhea asked. Her words slurred slightly. "Not good." The cub huffed, a sound remarkably similar to impatience, and gently grasped her sleeve between its teeth. It tugged. Rhea's military training warred with her survival instinct. Getting close to Frostfang cubs would compound her violation. But staying exposed meant certain death. She made her choice and crawled into the hollow. Immediately, the cubs followed. They arranged themselves around her in a tight circle, their bodies pressing against hers. Their silver fur was incredibly dense, and beneath it, their body temperature ran hot, nearly 42 degrees Celsius. Heat radiated from them like biological furnaces. The largest cub nestled against her chest. The second curled behind her back. The third draped itself across her legs. Together they formed a living cocoon, their warmth seeping through her uniform. The wind screamed overhead, but in their hollow, insulated by snow and fur, Rhea felt the deadly chill retreat. She wrapped her arms around the cubs, tears freezing on her cheeks. Not from cold now, but from something else entirely. Hours passed. The night deepened, and with it came the true cold of Rekka Prime. Temperatures that could freeze carbon dioxide from the air. Above their shelter, the wind became a constant roar. But inside, the cubs maintained their vigil, their breathing synchronized, their body heat shared freely. Rhea drifted in and out of consciousness. In her clearer moments, she marveled at their intelligence. They had followed her, defying their own elders. They had built her shelter. They kept her alive through the longest night of her life. Dawn came gradually, the violet sun painting the snow in shades of purple and gold. Rhea woke to find the cubs still pressed against her, though now they were alert, their ears swiveling toward distant sounds, the sound of approaching transport vehicles. The search party arrived to find Rhea alive, surrounded by her unlikely guardians. High Arbiter Krell himself emerged from the lead vehicle, his expression unreadable behind his species' thick facial ridges. He observed the scene for a long moment. The Hollow, the cubs, the human who should have died but lived. The planet has judged, Krell announced. Then, surprising everyone, he continued, as have the young ones. They are the future of Rekka. Their wisdom is unconventional, but wisdom nonetheless, he gestured to Rhea. Captain Solon, you have survived. More than that, you have been chosen. The Frostfang cubs have claimed you as their own, an event unprecedented in our history. The largest cub chirped and pressed closer to Rhea. Krell's expression shifted into what might have been a smile. It seems, Captain, that your crime has become your honor. You will serve as the cubs' guardian until they reach maturity. You will live among us, learning our ways, teaching yours. Protocol adapts or protocol dies. Today, we choose to live. Rhea looked down at the three cubs, at their amber eyes full of trust and something remarkably like affection. She thought about human stubbornness, about refusing to accept death, about the bonds that transcend species and law. Thank you, she whispered to them. Thank you. The white-patched cub licked her frozen cheek, and for the first time in hours, Rhea Solon smiled. Humans survived. But sometimes they survived together.